Hi friends, I welcome you again to my channel. Well, I just finished watching Gully Boy and wanted to share my views about the film with you all. Now, Gully Boy is the story of a young boy named Murad who comes from a very poor family living in the slums of Dharavi, Mumbai. Now, his father is a driver who somehow supports his family with meager earnings and he happens to be an abusive man. That's the biggest issue. Now he torments his wife, he physically abuses her, and this disturbs Murad like anything. As if things were not bad enough, he has a second marriage and he gets his younger wife to the house and completely shuns Murad's mother out. And somehow they can't protest because he's the only earning member of the family. Now, Murad is very tired and a depressed soul who just wants to break out of this distressful situation. But then he doesn't know how to get out of it. He is doing his graduation and he's in the final year. And somehow he knows he has to get a job and supplement his family's earnings. But then something within him, tells him that he's meant to do bigger things. But he really doesn't know what his hidden or latent talent is. Now, in this depressing scenario around him, the only silver lining is his girlfriend, Safina, played by Alia. Now, she comes from a well-to-do family and she's studying medicine. She has only two objectives in life. One is to become a doctor, and second is to get married to Murad. She loves Murad like anything. Their bond is extremely strong, and somehow Murad finds some solace in this relationship. Now, in the meantime, there happens to be an event in Murad's college where he gets acquainted with a fairly popular rap musician named Sher. And this is what changes Murad's life. Sher becomes some sort of a catalyst in making Murad realize his inner potential. Murad somehow has this talent of writing well. He writes his feelings down in the form of poetry, and that Sher happens to listen in one of their interactions, and that's when he encourages Murad to pursue this particular talent of his and eventually make it a profession. Now, Murad is not sure whether he really has it in him to go all the way as a rap musician. But then circumstances somehow makes him realize that yes, he can get away from the conventions and chalk out a road for himself, which is an offbeat path, but then that will probably lead him to realizing his true potential. Now, I won't give much of the story and plot points here. I would like you all to go and watch the film and discover it for yourself if you wish to. But in short, the film is Murad's fight against the stereotypical thinking, against his economic condition against his parents who wants him to follow the conventions and settle down in life as any other normal guy and eventually break through and walk the path to self-discovery. And that, in short, is the crux of the story. Now, coming to the direction, Zoya Akhtar is fairly good. She's also the co-writer of the film along with Rima Kakti, and even the screenplay credit goes to them. Now, this is a typical underdog story which we have seen before in many films. But what sets it apart is the treatment. Well, the way the makers have portrayed the characters and their world is extremely real and full of grit, and that's something I liked about the film. But talking about the film in general, it somehow didn't work for me as a whole. I thought the first half was quite good, and it had a good build up for the second half. But somehow, post interval, the film, stutters a bit. I found it, you know, somehow going in different directions and eventually losing the focus. Even some of the scenes, especially the competition scenes in the film, seemed a little amateurish, and we have seen better, things in, other films. So somewhere the makers have faltered on that part, and I found the film a little self-indulging in parts, especially towards the end. And the climax is a bit abrupt, which I thought will, somehow not go down too well with a large part of the audience. Now, as I have already mentioned in my previous video on the box office prediction of Gully Boy, that this always looked a film which is meant for a certain section of the audience. I think the film will work mainly with the youth in the metros and maybe a few A centers. It's the top 5-6 cities that will drive the film. Uh, the film mainly rides on its lead pair, Ranveer and Alia. And I must say that their performances are brilliant. They, completely nailed the character. Even in supporting roles, Vijay Raz, who plays Ranveer's father, Shiba Chadda, Alia's mother, these are some of the supporting characters who have really performed well. But the surprise element of the film is the rap musician who ignites Ranveer's passion. That is Siddhant Chaturvedi. He plays the rap artist Sher, and he's a debutant. And considering this is his first film, he was commendable. Uh, all in all, it's a good film, but it's not for a universal audience. Audience, that part of the audience who likes their films to be larger than life, who likes escapist cinema, who likes the routine song and dance, for them, this might not be their cup of tea. As I said, it'll appeal to the gentry audience, and that too in the premium multiplexes in metros and urban, some of the A centers. That's it. I Hope again the film proves me wrong, as I always say, and wish you all a great weekend and have a great time at the movies. I'll see you again. Till then,